The Last Color. I wrote down notes for all these films, and a lot of the other films I wrote a lot more notes for. This is all I had written that night for The Last Color. Amazing film. Loved everything about it. That's it. And that film is about an hour and a half. I cried for about an hour watching that movie. Tears falling out my eyes continuously watching the movie over every little thing. Nail polish, tears. Samosa, tears. Dancing, tears. Tea, tears. Like, just continuously crying. And at 2 points, I had to pause it to break down and cry. I had to pause. Okay. And continue watching the movie. It was so good to me. First of all, I love the story. The performances are amazing. Of that little girl and of, I think her name is Neena Gupta, the older woman, the widow in the film, she was fantastic. She had the acting of what I wanted in Topanga from the mother. She said so much with saying so little because she was able to emote her emotions. You could see it in her eyes and the way she moved. I was surprised with the acting of that little girl because, you know, child actors, sometimes they can give a great performance. Sometimes, you know, you go, they're a child actor. So I was like, oh my gosh, this girl is giving the performance of an adult. This girl is giving a performance of someone past her youth. Like, that little girl gave an award-winning performance to me. This is personal opinion. But so did Neena Gupta. That's an award-winning performance from both of them. In Topanga, we saw 3 different women. In this movie, I feel like you see 4 different women. And you're seeing their lives, and also these are women of different ages and different lifestyles. I also love the way this movie showed the societal treatment of widows, and the way in this film, I'm not saying it's real life, but the film of how sometimes it was justified with religion. I think it did a good job of showing the way sometimes life can be, society can be more patriarchal. In this type of society, the one shown in the film, the women more suffer, the women more have to pay for it, the women are more dependent on the man because the man is the pride and the man is mostly the provider, and so the woman is mostly dependent on the person. And it's sad, even down to the man's death, the woman still suffers. All of these women, I'm sorry, since seeing this movie on Sunday, I saw this movie really early in the morning, around 5 a.m. I had trouble sleeping. I just watched this movie. Every time I think about this film, every single day since then, today's Friday, I cry. I cry while thinking about it. I think sometimes so many movies want to show this type of theme. You understand what I'm saying? And they do a bad job of it. This film to me does a great job of it. And then not showing also how men contribute to it, also the women. Because just like the police husband's mother or even the other widow, they contributed to it. They're the antagonists in this film as well. It's another film in which I would love to discuss. I could talk about this film on so many different levels and so many different things. I hate to compare it to Topanga. You remember I said they would bring things up and it's like it doesn't really tie in? It's like they weave something that was so beautiful, like a placemat. It's like, okay, let me bring this up and then I'm gonna weave it back into the story. Let me bring this up and I'm gonna weave it back into the story. And they made a beautiful film. You would hear this dialogue earlier in the film and then it would come into play later and you're like, oh wow, I love that. It did a good job of just bringing things up and then putting it back into the story. Everything that was said had its purpose, and you could see its purpose later on in the film. Love that. This is basically the foundations of a love story. The relationship between that child and the widow, even though, you know, it's not a love story in that aspect, though it is a love story, a different kind of love. But you know, for a romance, this is the foundation in which people meet and they have conversations and they get to know each other, and you're wishing, oh wow, I wish they would run away together and create a new life. And you know, it's one of those to me. It's about 2 people who are suffering in their own lives, but they find happiness in one another. I loved it. I'm crying every day. I cry thinking about this movie. I gave this movie a 5 out of 5, and so far it's my favorite movie this year. So those are my movie reviews. Feel free to leave your opinion down below. I look forward to reading the comments. I really do. Bye.